Hello everybody, we are going to do some fun, kind of creepy Venus flytrap decor pieces for Halloween. I ran to the Dollar Tree and I grabbed footballs, 3 small ones as you can see here, and then 4 large ones. I'm just going to kind of show you what I did with the small ones first. So I took a knife, be very, very careful, and I'm cutting basically a mouth into them. You can cut different size wedges depending upon how wide you want the mouth gaps to be. For the smaller ones, I'm taking these skewers that I had and I'm just cutting off a little piece, and what I'm doing is I'm securing it inside the football to hold that quote-unquote mouth open, and then I will secure the top and the bottom of the skewer with some hot glue as well. Once I figured out how big I want the mouth gaps to be on all 3 of these guys, again, I'm taking the skewers and I'm cutting off the tips of them, and these are going to be our teeth. And there we have it. So I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue and I am going to apply that to the blunt end of the little quote-unquote tooth, and we're just going to shove it right into the styrofoam, and that hot glue is just going to help secure it into place for us. There's a tooth, there's a few teeth, and here is many teeth. Just going to take another skewer that I had and stick it in the bottom. This is just going to hold these guys in place while we continue on with painting. I am ripping off the tails of these flying whistle footballs. We're not going to need those. Well, they will come into play for the larger footballs, but taking them off now. And then I have this flat black Rust-Oleum primer spray paint, and we're just going to spray all of them. Make sure you get inside the mouth and the whole shebang. This is just going to give us a really good base for any other paints that we use to stick to the project. Hey guys, so for the bigger footballs, this is going to be for a bigger piece outside. Kind of the same technique that I used with the smaller footballs, but I just sliced at an angle and met in the middle so that we had bigger gaps in these. And I ran out of skewers, so I'm just using plastic forks. So what I did is I cut off all the fork prongs of plastic forks, and I'm just kind of cutting them as I need them. These that came on the smaller footballs right here, what I did is I just cut them because they had foam in them. The skewers were not big enough to hold this mouth open, so I just cut depending upon how wide I wanted the mouths open on the bigger ones. That's what I put inside, and then I did secure, I don't know if you can see, I did secure the top and the bottom with some hot glue, as well as the back crease too. Just because these are bigger, I just kind of wanted to give it a little extra stability. So that's what I did with the larger ones. Now, I just want to tell you too that these are not really kid friendly, right? Okay, so if you have smaller kids, all my kids are grown, our youngest is 10, almost 11. So these are sharp, so just keep that in mind. If you do want something that's less sharp, or definitely keep it up away from your smaller kids. If you want something that's less sharp, you can definitely still go with the skewers. If you do, just take some sandpaper and just kind of, flies, I hate flies, ADHD, huh? Yes, you can say hi. That's Carson. You can take the skewers and then take some sandpaper and just round off and soften the tips of these as well. You don't need to have the sharp point if you do have smaller kids kind of running around. So, but I just wanted to let you guys know that piece. But I am going to show you the easiest way to get these in, because it's more of a blunt tip. Kind of same with the skewers too. So I'm taking the sharp tip and I'm just shoving it a little bit into the foam first, like that. Careful not to go through like I just did. Not a huge deal. If you do, you won't really see it. And I'm just taking my hot glue and I'm just going around the base of the prong, finding that hole and just shoving it in. So then you get your tooth. And then once you fill the mouth, it'll kind of look like that. So there we have it. Continue on with the video. So moving on, here are some stills with the plastic fork teeth. And then again, I'm just going to take that flat black spray paint and we're just going to spray all of these larger footballs as well. We're getting there, guys. Then I just took some other colors of paints that I had and did another base coat on them. Once that dried, I'm just taking acrylics. These colors you won't really see a whole lot. They're just going to kind of pop through once everything is said and done. But I did go over all these with different color acrylics, kind of colors that matched my inside decor a little bit. And then what I did not record, and I apologize, is after these acrylic paints dried, then I did take a chippy brush and I did just dry brush some white over all of them too. So they did look a little more on the whiter light side once they were finished as far as the painting process went, as you can see here. So then I'm just taking some black acrylic. So the 3 smaller footballs, they had these whistles in them, you know, when you throw them, they whistle. And I could have popped those out, but then I would have been left with like little holes and whatever. I'm sure I could have worked with it, but I thought, well, we'll just use them as eyes. So I just painted little pupils in them. And then once everything was finally done being painted and the whole shebang, I went over it with a Rust-Oleum clear matte spray paint. You can use polyacrylic or, you know, whatever you want to use, but that just was fast. And then I took a bunch of dowel rods that I just bought at Walmart for like 50 cents. And that's what I stuck in the bottom of the footballs, the larger ones anyway, for more of a permanent fixture. So to add the final details to these, I just took some of my clear wax and my dark and decrepit powder, both products from DIY, Debbie's Design Diary. And I'm applying the clear wax and then the dark and decrepit powder. And I'm just kind of rubbing it all over. I just wanted to kind of dirty and dingy these little guys up a little bit. And then I attached some of that foliage that you saw in the previous video and, you know, to the back of the footballs, just to make sure some adhered to them, just to make it a little more natural, like a plant, right? Yeah, and then put those new dowel rods in the bottom for stability. And then I went ahead and planted them, so to speak. So I just put them in the centerpiece, the smaller ones in the centerpiece. This is actually sitting in my living room right now. The kids think it's kind of cool. Oh, one detail I did also add. See, these guys have some drool. I just used my hot glue for that. So I just kind of dribbled hot glue off some of the ends of the teeth and, you know, around the gum line, that kind of thing. So it looks like they're salivating. That's totally an option, but I like it. So again, these are the smaller footballs. This is a smaller mantle or centerpiece for Halloween. Again, I like the creepy stuff, guys, so that's kind of where this is going. Here are the bigger footballs. So I did 4 of these. So I just put these in a bigger planter, again, using that foliage, most of which is from the dollar store. You can totally check out the previous video, just how to make them a little more elegant Halloween-y. And that's it. I wouldn't recommend this for outside use unless you seal these footballs with a polyurethane or oil-based sealant. These would be great in a porch, though.